4.
Across a drifting ship, I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I set a course for sights unseen and out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on a mystery ship, and all the sailors here are really here. There isn't any cost of membership. All that you gotta do is join our trip. Yeah, I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard this trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it up on the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship.
Yes, and there we are. We have completed
the opening, which means I should be to my camera and it should be working, and it is. And it is. Good evening, my friends. Wonderful to have each of you joining in to the mystery ship, sailing on 5 platforms. Tonight we are live at DLive. We are live at YouTube. Yes, we are. We're live at Rumble. Oh, we are rumbling. We are freaking rumbling. That's good. That is good. I like it when it works, when it actually works for a change, a pleasant change. We're live at Pilled. Good to see you over there. And we are live at Twitch. We are twitching that itch over there. So, very good. We're 5 for 5. How are you doing this wonderful evening? It is my pleasure to welcome you once again to a Sunday night version of the Mystery Ship. We sail uncharted waters here. I like to take us all over the place looking at, history and nostalgia and just all kinds of stuff. Occasionally I get myself in a little trouble speaking politically, trying to keep my nose clean. I've had my first warning thus far, but so far so good. So far so good. I don't have any strikes yet, so that's fine. That's fine. How's it going out there? I'm going to say some hellos. Jolene, wonderful to see you. Veronique, wonderful to have you aboard. Yes, I am doing much better than Friday night. Friday night, I worked extremely late. There's a little taco truck around the corner. I knew I wasn't going to have time to have a full-blown sit-down dinner, so I grabbed some kind of burrito especial to go, and it was literally a burrito to go. So I paid dearly for that. Friday night was miserable, but I'm back, people. I'm back. Due diligence, always good to have you aboard. Dave Mick, good to have you with us. Crazy Chuck with a K in the house. Amethyst Cat, all over the place. I mean, she was both at Pilled, Foxhole, and DLive for 3 Beer Men. She's doing the same here once again. I get around, round, 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 round. The Beach Boys were singing about you, baby. Sigurd, how is it going, my man? Lieutenant Cooker in the house. Val Hall, what is up, my friend? Look at all these wonderful sailors rolling in. Girl Patriot, bringing the love. Oh, yeah. She's ready to race some Go Karts. Look, she's posting stickers of Go Karts. That is freaking awesome. That is awesome. Yes, I stumbled upon this topic tonight purely by accident. I was amazed to find out what I found out about go-karting. It's going to blow your mind, too. I hope it does. It's very, very interesting story. Judy the Lady Pug is with us. Always a pleasure, my dear. Always a pleasure. We have got a bunch of fine sailors hanging out at Pilled Foxhole. They're already spreading the love over there. Thank you for the support. Your gold pills are very much appreciated. And look right over here at DLive. Gloria has come roaring in yet again I think this is her 7th Ninja Genie in the last 2 days. So I thank you, darling, from the bottom of you are. If you look at that leaderboard, you are far and away the leader extraordinaire, my dear. You are absolutely killing it over there. Killing it. And we had 3 more people follow us at DLive. Welcome, Trinity, and 2 others. Well, that is just splendid. Splendid. My name is D is with us tonight. Bad Zoot. What is up, little lady? Daggers of love heading your way. Val Kimber. Val Kimber in the house. Miss Kitty again. Lieutenant Cooker, he's double dipping. He's saying hello on both sides of the fence. Amethyst Cat is giving out subscriptions. Again, what a wonderful supporter of this program. Thank you, Amethyst Cat. Thank you, Gloria Paddock. You guys are, yes, I mean, look, you're the two top tier. Wow, and Lieutenant Cooker's up there too. Fantastic. Thank you guys for what you do for this show. You really help me out. Artist 61 in the house. Great to see you, kiddo. Peggy Dancer is with us. I don't see Spud. I don't see Spud, but it doesn't mean he's not here. Jayla17 is with us, people. She just says, got hubby tucked in. I'm here unless he needs something. What wonderful news. She let us know earlier today. Heck, I'll read the email she sent. Great news. What did I do with it? It was right here. There it is. She said, just wanted to let you all know that hubby got released from the hospital today. We got home about an hour ago, which was probably about 4 hours ago, and got settled in, and he's sleeping while I unpack. He's doing pretty well, but tires out easily. It's to be expected. Just some minor discomfort around his incisions. Oh, you mean that 8-inch gash where they took a Sawzall and cut his sternum in half? Yeah, that would be a bit painful, I would think. But otherwise, this guy must be just a rock star. She says, other than that, he feels pretty good. Impressive, most impressive. I'm sure he'll rest better now that we're home, so that should help too. Fantastic news. Thanks for sharing that with us, Jayla. Always a pleasure to hear good news from our sailors. It really is. Wonderful news. Sheeple, beware. In the house. He was talking about coyotes earlier. Coyotes. Wow. I miss coyotes. We don't have, I mean, I know we have them up here. I've only seen one, and honestly, I had to double check. It might have been more of a wolf, but I mean, when I was down in SoCal, that yip of the coyotes, that was unmistakable. When I lived in northern San Diego County in Fallbrook, we had coyotes. Crazy. I love coyotes. I love them. All right, let's go and see if anyone's hanging at Twitch. I don't see anyone yet, but that doesn't mean that they won't pop in. Over at D Live. Excuse me. Rumble. There are 10 people hanging out at Rumble. You are the mysterious types, but I'm very pleased to have you aboard. Thanks for joining us. This evening on the Mystery Ship. It's certain to be an interesting little show. It really will be. How about over at YouTube? Oh my goodness. We got a whole bunch of people. Our Charlie, how are you doing? Emily Gangadine in the house. Good to see you. Mud Wabbit, let us know that her temporary computer or whatever the upgrade was that allowed her to get over on DLive is no more. So she had to go back over to YouTube where she can at least work it, I think, on her phone. Is that the story? Nonetheless, always good to see you, Mud Rabbit. Anyway, we catch you. It's good to see you. Oh, my cousin checking in. She's watching our show but can't comment. Let's see. I wonder if she's watching on DLive. Watching your show but cannot comment. I don't know why, but wanted to say hi and asked if you remembered when we were young. My dad bought a go-kart. We bought it on our street. Yes, your mom was not happy about it. I remember it specifically, Alan. I remember it well. Of course, your dad bought the biggest, most badass go-kart that money could buy, so no wonder your mom was worried. Dark Brain in the house. Good to see you. Good to have you aboard, my friend. Hope everything is good in your world. Wow, a whole bunch of sailors hanging out over at the Tube. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us. One more peek around the horn. All right. Jo Elaine is spreading the love over there. She's two-timing mod duties, taking care of Rumble as well. Thank you, Jo Elaine, for being such a multitasker. I don't know how you do it. I really don't. But you're damn good at it. You're damn good at it. So, let me make an adjustment here. A mild adjustment here. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Coming off the heels of Three Beer Men, a very interesting show. They talked about a few things that I remembered from the good old days. When they started talking about gaming, man. Oh, you're on YouTube. You're over at YouTube and you can't comment? Well, that's really strange. That's really strange. Well, I'm glad you're over there, Ellen. Good to have you aboard. Really, when you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the live chat, there isn't a little chat bar for you to, well, that's unusual. You might try refreshing the page once. That might do it for you. But nonetheless, we're happy to have you. And Susan Danielle has just popped in, snuck in the back door. Perfect. Duska, anchors away. Let's go. Let's go. Ah, yes. It's going to be a fun and crazy evening aboard the mystery ship. We're going to look at something. We're going to look at something uniquely American. And the reason I find this so fascinating is that although it's still, there is some popularity still in the United States, other countries have literally gone berserk for the go-kart. In particular, Great Britain. That's interesting, Ellen. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up. You're certainly not blocked. At least I don't think you are. I will look and see. The only thing that makes sense, she says there is a bar, and I've done it before, but it just won't let me type for some reason, unless for some freaking reason somebody, one of the mods accidentally axed you out. I don't know what the reason is, but I will look into it. I will look into it. It's not as easy as the other channels to do that. I've got to go deep into the bowels of YouTube to fix that, but we will have a gander. We will see what's going on. All right. So, beginning of the show, I always let people get settled in. They say their hellos. Here's a brief moment. Here's a brief moment in time for you to freshen up that drink, take the dogs outside, run to the restroom. This is our one and only break in the show. We've said our hellos. We know where we're going. We know what we're doing. We will be back immediately following this short piece of video tape right here.
Why do we sail upon the mystery ship? 'Cause we never know where we'll go next.
Well, this is where I take a moment to thank the beautiful people who support this program in whatever way that you do. Thank you for your donations. They are amazing. They really are. I'm taking just a quick peek over here at the leaderboard at D Live, and it would appear that I am currently 10th, which is most impressive. I am tickled pink to be 10th. I'm looking for my friend Val Kimber, but look up here, folks. Three beer men in the number 2 position. That is awesome. That's for this week. When you go to this month, Zoe is hanging in there at, I think, number 14. Yes, I'm hanging in at number 14, which is freaking phenomenal. Thank you guys so much for putting me there. You're amazing. Come on, where's Val Kimber? Where is KMBR? There he is. Number 37. Right behind Hippie Soul. Wouldn't you know, Val is on the heels of a redhead. Isn't that just like him? Just like him. But seriously, folks, all kidding aside, thank you most generously for the love you share. It is amazing. One of the best ways you can help this program doesn't actually cost any gold pills or any lemons whatsoever. It's just sharing with a friend that there's this crazy little show and you ought to watch it. You know, somehow, every time I click on to D Live, there's 3-4 more people tonight at Rumble. We've got a batch of people hanging out over there. I love them. Thanks for being there. I want to just touch base quickly on a short aside. Of course, you know, at the end of this program, we run down the long laundry list of people who are in need of prayer, personal friends, etc., etc. I reached out tonight to Amber, who is our dear departed brother Leonard's ex-wife, his widow, and I had about a 10-minute chat with her. Kind of caught them at a bad time, and it was kind of bad timing on my behalf as well. But I did get to speak with Amber, and I know that we prayed various times during the year for the Fishburne family. They are hanging in there, but she said, just from a mental standpoint, it has been a very, very trying year. As I surmised, every time there was a holiday, like a Father's Day, or, you know, a Thanksgiving, a Christmas, or Leonard's birthday coming by, you know, it was a first. It was the first time the family was celebrating those holidays without Leonard there with them. So it's been challenging. She let me know that a couple of the kids are seeking therapy and are doing okay. The oldest and extremely bright daughter, Abby, who got like a free ride to college, had to, I think, back off on her second semester and move back home to Salina temporarily to take care of some personal things and kind of put their world back together. And with any luck, she will be returning to her studies. Leonard was extremely proud of this young lady. She straight A's, just freaking straight A's, with a very, very bright future ahead. We'll be praying for the Fishburne family later on, but I just wanted to let you know I had touched base with them, and they're hanging in there. It's not easy, but they are hanging in there. So please keep them in your prayers, always, always. All right, looking towards tonight's program, this little topic, go-karts, a uniquely American little item. Now, if I have my history correct, in the mid to late 50s, a guy thought he had a new design for a lawnmower. So he purchased something like, now don't quote me on this, I'm going to quote a historian who will tell us the truth, but I'm shooting from the hip. But the story is something similar to this. He apparently bought a whole bunch of gas-powered engines that he wanted to revolutionize the lawnmower with this small, lightweight little thing instead of the old crank-up. I don't know if you guys remember those, but back in the 60s, a lawnmower had a handle on the top, and you flipped open the handle, and you cranked it, and you wound the spring up, and then when you would push the handle back down, it would, and sometimes it would fire, sometimes it wouldn't. This guy tried to revolutionize lawnmowers, and he failed miserably. His lawnmowers sucked. They didn't do it. So here he was with all these freaking motors. What the hell is he going to do with them? He's already deeply invested in this. And I guess one of his friends who was a racing guy, or this guy was look, don't let me paraphrase. Let's go to the horse. Let's go to there's a gentleman here who can share the history of go-kart racing far better than I can. Let's see what he has to say. Now, be prepared, okay? I think I shared with you that although go-karting was born right here in the US of A, it actually has become huge in other countries. In Great Britain, go-karting is like, it's like NASCAR to us, okay? It is a huge sport with these stadiums dedicated to karting. We're going to look at some of them. It's insane. I mean, if they had tracks like that to ride on, I would be over. I mean, if we had tracks like that to ride on over here in the U.S., at my age, I would be down there living it up. We do have at my local, whatever it is, a family fun center. They have the typical outdoor games. They have some go-karts that go, a whopping 6 miles an hour. They've got a similar thing that these bumper boats where you can splash the heck out of your friends and push them under the waterfall, and that kind of, fun kid stuff that teenagers do and overgrown children, adults do. But go-karting in Great Britain is like serious freaking business. So don't be surprised when you listen to this historian share with us the beginnings of go-karts. Don't be surprised that he has a British accent, okay? Let's just hear what this gentleman has to say.
The story begins back in the 1950s across the pond in California at a racing company called Curtis Craft. They were known for building race cars in the Indy 500, midget cars for dirt oval tracks, and even made an entry into Formula One. But the less said about that, the better. Now, working at Curtis Craft was a fabricator named Art Ingalls. Now, at the time, the company McCulloch was known for its chainsaws and motors and just released a new line of lawnmowers. Unfortunately for them, they were hit with hundreds of complaints. This then resulted in a massive recall and being left with around 8,000 motors left on the shop floor. The warehouse where these were stored were close to Curtis Craft, so one day Art went across and brought one for $25 and started building what is now known as the Kart 1, a small tubeless chassis with the motor only powering one wheel using a bike chain. He then got a visit from Duffy Livingston, who needed some work done onto his sports car. And whilst at the garage, he spotted a little cart. He then asked Art if he could build the exact same using the same motor, and Art agreed. Duffy went away and made a few of his own along with his partner Roy Desborough. After 3 were built, they all took them down to the famous Rose Bowl, driving around its car park and even pulling off some tricks and having fun. News spread fast about the little karts and started to build crowds, but unfortunately for them, every place they would turn up to, they get shut down for noise complaints, but they were still asked where they could buy one themselves. And so in 1957, Duffy Livingston, Roy Desborough and Bill Rowles formed the Go Kart Manufacturing Company, selling make-it-yourself go-kart kits for $129. Art, who was still working at Curtis Craft, tried to convince his boss that he should open up a go-kart manufacturing division in the business, but he failed. So in 1958, he quit his job and opened up the Ingalls and Borelli Kart Company, making completed karts rather than kit versions Duffy was making. And so the karting craze began, but they still had the issue of getting kicked out by local authorities. So a friend of theirs, Don Broderick, who was a racer, mechanic and attorney, said, to keep from getting kicked out of these parking lots, we've got to form our own club and get our own insurance, as well as making regulations that can govern the competitions in future. And so the Go-Kart Club of America was born with its own home for racing, with rules and regulations patterned along with official races on properly made tracks. From then on, it became a worldwide phenomenon, with the UK getting its first taste of karting back in 1958, thanks to the help of Sergeant Mickey Flynn of the US Air Force. He spotted the advert for an American magazine and called up Duffy to have 5 karts to be flown overseas, to have at race meetings for his US airmen at Burton Wood in the UK. The craze, much like in America, spread fast in England, going from airbase to airbase. As ordering these karts overseas was tricky for UK citizens, in 1959 Aubrey Leighton famously created the Yellow Peril, the first British-built go-kart. With a Willys 90 engine and gearbox, brakes made up of metal clamping around the axle, thin General Jumbo tyres and a big steering wheel for extra fun. The first official UK race was held in 1959 at RAF Lakenheath. Aubrey's creations claimed victory against the American-made karts and was won by none other than the great Graham Hill. Soon after, more and more dedicated manufacturers started making more consumer karts, either assembled in kits or as separate pieces to build up their own karts over time at home.
What more does a boy want to do than sit in it and see what it feels like? Even as he does so, he's looking ahead.
Thinking about buying a kart? McCulloch opens up a new era in karting. Not yet.
It was around this time karting became more serious, with countries having their own governing bodies and even having publications talking about the sport. And in 1964, the Commission Internationale de Karting, the governing body for karting in France, held the first official championship in Rome at Pista di Loro. 19 drivers from across the world competed, and it was Guido Sala from Italy taking victory in his 100cc kart. Karting was now seen as a true sport and started becoming the gateway for up-and-coming drivers to break into the motorsport world, such like the 1977 South American kart champion Ayrton Senna and 1984 German junior kart champion Michael Schumacher. The 90s brought the popularity of indoor go-kart tracks to light, where customers could arrive and drive on slower but safer designed karts at places like Daytona in 1990 and Team Sport in 1992. Also seeing companies like Biz Karts forming in 1994, dedicated to making karts specifically for outdoor and indoor tracks, which were built for maximum efficiency with barriers around the karts, interchangeable seats, and now moving into the modern era, becoming fully electric and having their speed controlled remotely for a safer experience. And so that is the story of how go-karting first started, from taking old lawnmower engines and transforming them into racing machines. Now this
And that's some pretty crazy stuff. So over here in the States, as was, it was pretty normal, little family fun centers all across America caught on to this craze of go-karts as well as mini bikes. Okay, same motor, same thought, same drivetrain. One you ride like a bicycle, and the other one you sit down and drive like a car. When I was a kid, and I shared this briefly with you last week, I'll show it again, though. I'm going to show it again. Where is it? Right here in my email. There it is. Oh, come on. I just had the damn thing. Okay. I must have accidentally closed it, but here we go. This was Southern California. This actual place was a stone's throw from my house, or a good 2.5 mile bike ride for a 10-year-old kid on his Schwinn Stingray. But this was what we called Pepe's Go-Kart Land, in smack dab in the middle of the San Fernando Valley. Now, there is no volume with this, but you can see these kids having fun and see all the half-buried tires all the way around the perimeter of the track. Now, obviously, the father doing the filming is filming his little blonde girl who is just barely able to go around the track. The cars were actually pretty quick. These went about 13 miles an hour. Oh, come on, kid. Find the gas pedal. Step on it, baby. Oh, I guess she's cooking pretty good right there. I don't know if these are Super 8s or just standard 8mm films, but that was go-karting. That was go-karting to us when we were kids. If you wanted, look, there's a father with his little kid in front of him. Pepe's Go-Kart Land. That was the exact place. That is the very, very place where I used to ride go-karts in my teens. And then I'm ashamed to say in my early 20s as well. Go-karting really kind of caught on in the U.S. My cousin chimed in. She sent me a text when she found out that was the topic of tonight's story, because in the mid-'60s, my uncle, the cousin who's watching right now over on YouTube, oh, she got in. I see you, El Cello. She's in, people. She is in. I will let her know. Good to see you, Ellen. Yeah, she's back and able to chat. That's wonderful. My uncle, my dad's youngest brother was, he was about the biggest little kid you ever saw. And, the first guy in the family to have a Ferrari. The man enjoyed the finer things in life, skiing and Zermatt and all of that. That was, my Uncle John was an incredible guy, a very, very memorable person in my life. But he bought a go-kart, and it was a badass go-kart. Now, he had 3 girls, okay? But there was a whole family of boys that lived right across the street, and they took to that go-kart like fish take to water. And I remember my dad pulling up one day, and they were just ripping up and down the street. Unlike the Pepe's go-karts that had a governor on them, this thing was all out. So, of course, my dad took it for a ride. And then promptly returned and informed my brother and myself that we couldn't drive it because we'd hurt ourselves. That was his fear. Of course, it was like, just a swift kick in the nuts. That it's not fun to be told you can't do something. I have to laugh because years and years later, we had moved to California. Not years and years, but 5 years. Early 70s, 72 maybe. We're riding along in the car one Sunday afternoon, and out in the west end of the San Fernando Valley, and I point up ahead. I knew the place was there. Hey, Dad, look, go-karts and mini bikes. And I must have caught my dad. I must have caught my dad in just one of those moods, because he pulled on in there. He pulled in there, and we sat in the car for what seemed to be, 45 minutes. And we sat patiently, waiting, wondering what the hell was going on in that store. And there was a dirt road. There was a dirt road out behind this little shop that sold go-karts and mini bikes. Next thing you know, we see my dad on this mini bike, and he is hauling. He's doing like 50 miles an hour. It was a beautiful summer's day, and he's just hauling ass back and forth down this road. I'm looking at my brother. I'm elbowing my, dude, you see that? Because our neighbors down the street had a go-kart, and we didn't. We felt like redheaded stepchildren. And the next thing you know, my dad pulls the bike back into the back of the shop, and what seemed like an eternity later, what was the big deal? All he had to do was pull out his wallet and lay down a couple $100 and throw the thing in the back of the car. Unbeknownst to me, my dad had the man change the sprocket on the mini bike, turning it into a veritable snail. I think the top speed was 23 miles an hour. But it would climb hills like this. It would climb a tree. You sacrifice speed for power, okay? So this bike was big on power and terrible on speed, which was a huge disappointment. If I had only known in my later years, I'd by the time I bought motorcycles and all that crap, I'd have taken that sprocket off and put on a little tiny one and watched that sucker just roast like it was intended to be. But I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the name of it. It was a Powell Challenger, and it had 2 speeds. It was a fan belt drive. I loved it. I always wanted a go-kart. And for some damn reason, one never came my way. Recently, I guess I'm every bit the grown-up child that my Uncle John was. I was recently looking at go-karts for me and my grandson, so that we could throw them on the trailer and go out and tear it up. The damn things are like $1,500 for a decent go-kart. Whereas back in the day, what were they? $139, $129? Oh my goodness. You would not believe how intense go-karting is in other countries. Here is an item born in the United States, and yet it becomes enormous over in Europe. I'm going to show you. These carts. It is absolutely insane. These kids freaking fly. This is June of 2023. I'm going to show you. Look at these carts. Look at these freaking carts. They got announcers out there like this may as well be NASCAR, okay? In Great Britain, this is a great big deal. All right, let me fast forward to where these kids are actually racing. Okay. All right, this is the start of this race. Check this out. You got to see this. Natural sound up, please. Thank you, Zoe. Let's watch these guys go.
On the front row, but who is going to get a good getaway? They look at the lights, they wait for them to go green. Who is going to take us away here? The engine notes rise, and they go. Great start from the second row for the 63, already trying to get into second place. And Sam Waller contact, and round goes another driver.
Glennis's gone round. Glennis emerges round. Glennis, everybody catch it. James Glennis to catch it as he damages nose cone. Porter leads, Green second, Ward third. into Spoon we go on lap number 1, and that looks like the number 3 is up there. So is McEwen. Hannah Lang in 7th position, and where is Glenister? Oh, Glenister with what looks to be a puncture. You can have all the rubber in the world, but if the tyre's flat, it's flat. Game over, game changed up at the front, as we've now got those drivers who are literally down the canvas battling, and here goes Ryan Green, privateer driver Ryan Green on the Daniela Rossi chassis takes the lead, and Sam Ward couldn't do the Sunday at Kim Bolton because his mechanic accident.
Okay, I've got to interject here. Look at this. Look at this freaking thing. They've got leader positions on the screen. Look how fast these freaking carts are going. I mean, this to me looks like a good time. If I could go down to the local go-kart place, you know, the Pepe's go-kart land of today, and me and my drunken friends could get behind the wheel of a couple of these things, can you imagine the good time we would have? We'd probably never leave. If they sold beer at this place, it would be the greatest time ever. I'm telling you, this is insane. I think I believe I saw that the cars they do like 70 miles an hour. Yeah, you can tell how fast they're going. Incredible. Incredible. Look how tiny the wheels are. Wow.
He's just set a new fastest lap. 42.63 seconds. He's 10 seconds, though, behind everybody else.
I thought you were just calling him a demon.
I can't. I just, for the life of me.
The privateer energy core chassis on the grass at 90 miles an hour. Charlie Turner squeezing Joe Charlton. Wow, Joe Charlton, that would have been, well, talking about Code Brown moment.
I can't get over this. I can't get over this. All right, now to give equal time, I'm going to, let me remove these Britons. Nothing against them. I'm half British, but seriously, let me look up. Well, I stand corrected. I guess we do have American go-kart racing. We do have American go-kart racing here. Let's get a gander at this. They are a little different. But let's see.
Yeah, here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come.
Okay. All right. So that is just a company that, like a nationwide company of go-kart racing. Holy smokes, a behind the wheels scene. This guy's doing every bit of 50. Wow. That is very, very different. Okay. Very, very different than there. So there are American go-karts, but did you see the difference? The American go-karts, of course, probably the whatever the entity in charge of killing a good time is, we have rubber bumpers all the way around the outside of our cars, whereas in Britain they just got fiberglass bodies and go, baby, go. Wow, that's crazy. So as go-karting progressed in the U.S., by the 70s, go-karting changed, and a new breed of go-kart arrived, and it was something called Malibu Grand Prix. Now, I don't know if I can find a video of this or not, but what it was is, where is that Pepe's Go-Kart Land, which is the first videotape I showed you with the little blonde girl going around at about 8 miles an hour. Malibu Grand Prix was like a scaled down formula car, and it was ridiculously overpriced. I mean, in 1970s dollars, it was $5. $5. This is when minimum wage was $1.85, okay? It cost $5 to do one lap. You got one lap. And they timed you. I mean, the whole thing was, it was car by car by car, and you raced against the clock. It was a whole different league than go-karting. Let me see if I can find Malibu Grand Prix. Okay, here's one. Here we go. I don't believe it. This is the exact animal. All right, let's hear what this has to say. Let's hear what they have to say here.
Company that was popular during the 1970s and 80s as a franchise miniature IndyCar racing track. Welcome to Eric C. Productions. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified of my latest video and a future posting. Thanks for watching, and now back to the program.
Come on already.
In Denver, off I-25 at 58th Avenue.
In March of 1975, a group of overgrown kids from Orange County created the first Malibu Grand Prix near Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim. The idea had come about when Ron Cameron, a Malibu investor, was visiting Detroit and came across a miniature speedway where people could drive cars around a dirty track. He took the idea home with him to California, made a few improvements, and started his own business. Initially, the only feature was a miniature racetrack with 3/4 scale, custom-designed 28 horsepower Formula One racers powered by Sachs-Wankel rotary engines, which allowed anyone to play Mario Andretti for $1 a lap. The cars, which were valued at $12,000 to $15,000 each, cruised along at speeds of up to 67 miles per hour. The official fastest time for each location was posted on a board outside the track. After 3 or 4 months, the location installed a half dozen pinball machines and a handful of video games operated by an outside vendor outside the main building. When the games proved to be an easy source of extra income, the owners tore down some of the offices in the main building to make room for more. When the second location opened up in Fountain Valley, it included a small game room with about 25 games. The third location opened in Pasadena in July of 1976 with 67 games. The owners quickly realized that using an outside vendor to supply their games was costing them money and began operating their own games. While the racetrack remained the focal point of the centers, the video games became almost as well known. By late 1976, the first Malibu Grand Prix outside of California was opened in Tucson, Denver, and Houston. And as the video game explosion got into full swing, Malibu Grand Prix became one of the largest arcade chains in the country. In 1977, Cameron sold the chain to Warner Communications, owner of Atari, for $4 million. Under Warner, the chain soon expanded to over 100 locations nationwide. The Malibu Grand Prix idea eventually spawned imitators, such as Funway Freeway, which had locations in 19 states when Warner sold it to Six Flags in 1980. On December 31st, 1983, Warner sold Malibu Grand Prix to a holding company controlled by two Canadian businessmen for $19 million, who later merged it with a company called Castle Entertainment. In 1984, the chain lost $6.3 million on revenues of just $28.1 million. In the first quarter of 1985, they lost $2.4 million more.
Good evening, friends. Slaughter and butchery are the words being used to describe the murders of 4 employees of a Southwest Houston amusement center. Their bodies were discovered at a Malibu Grand Prix complex this morning. So far, police have no suspects in what appears to be a case of robbery and multiple murder. Deborah Wrigley reports.
The popular racing and video game park became the scene of one of the largest Houston murder investigations in memory just after 8 this morning. That was when a Federal Express delivery man and a female worker arrived here to find the doors to the video game center open.
Federal Express employee began to help her look around, and they discovered the bodies.
How brutal would you describe these murders?
Terribly brutal.
In all, there were 4 employees dead, all males said to be in their late teens to 20s. They had apparently been closing the center just after midnight when the robbers entered. The business office where one man's body was found was said to have been ransacked. In the bathroom, 3 more bodies were discovered. All the victims are believed to have died from multiple stab wounds, including slashed throats and stabs to the chest, face, even heads. And under one body, the apparent weapon was found.
A recently terminated employee gained entry to the building under the pretext of picking up his last paycheck and brought 2 accomplices with him. All were convicted, 2 received the death penalty, and 1 was sentenced to life in prison. The site was razed in the early 1990s and is now a medical clinic in Gulfton. At its peak in the 1980s, the Malibu Grand Prix empire encompassed close to 50 tiny racetracks across the United States, Canada, Europe, Asia, and Australia. Hundreds of thousands of racers racked up millions of laps at $1 or so a pop as we chased after the ever better times posted on the electronic timers just beyond the finish line. Devotees with treasured Malibu Grand Prix licenses included not just dweebs, like me, but celebrities such as teenage Leonardo DiCaprio, the adult Tupac Shakur, and totally addicted Paul Newman. Although the cars were billed as scaled-down F1 thoroughbreds, they were nothing more than clunky, oversized Go Karts with fancy fiberglass bodywork. Notwithstanding the aspirational rear wings and slick tires, the short circuits and serpentine layouts capped top speeds at about 40 measly miles per hour. Wheel-to-wheel competition was strictly prohibited, and drivers had to come to a complete stop and hand over a pre-purchased ticket before starting another lap. The Canadians sold the chain to Mount Asia in 1995. The remaining properties were sold in 1994 and then again in 2002. Since then, virtually all of the Malibu Grand Prix outposts have been shuttered, and even at those few locations where the name is still used, the company's original DNA and catch-it has long since vanished. In 2002, the last 3 remaining Malibu Grand Prix were purchased by Palace Entertainment. These locations were in Redwood City, California, Norcross, Georgia, and San Antonio, Texas. Palace operated additional locations in Los Angeles, California, and Dallas, Texas. The Redwood City, California location closed on August 18, 2013, and the San Antonio location closed on September 7, 2015.
Well, I'll be darned. I had no idea there was such a sordid history to the place. But Malibu Grand Prix was a very interesting take on go-karting. God, 40 miles an hour? I mean, I can't tell you how much money I wasted at that place, but I did. There was one in Northridge, California, right across from the Northridge Mall, and right on the corner of Corbin Avenue and Nordoff Street in the heart of the San Fernando Valley. I guess it was borderline. Yeah, it was Northridge. It was Northridge. Those cars were. I swear about this. The cars were numbered, and there was like a whole bunch of them in a row, and you'd be watching guys go around the track, and like they said, they never had more than one. There was only one car on the track at a time. There was no head-to-head racing. That was completely verboten. But I remember it being heinously expensive. Like, I swear to God, I remember it being $5 for one lap, which we thought was just ridiculous. But son of a gun, we'd go there and shell out $50 in late 1970s dollars, that was a lot. It was like, an hour's pay back in the day. The cars were cool, though. But I do recall that there were dogs. You would watch the guys go, and you would watch the guys who had the good lap times and stuff. And it always seemed inevitably that, like, the dog, if there was a dog, like the number 9 car was a slow car. And wouldn't you know it, man, by the time I got up there, I got number 9. Oh, I used to get, I'm kind of competitive by nature, but I wanted to set the track record so badly. I dreamed of because at the Northridge place, you got your name in bright lights out front with your time. Your name and your time, and then inside there was your picture on the wall until somebody broke your freaking record. Now, I thought I saw in the chat that Spud was saying he went to the one in Anaheim. Is that true? And yeah, there was an age limit. You're right. There was an age limit. I think at first you had to be like a minimum of. Was it a height? You had to be so tall before you could do it? Or was it an age limit? I do know that they eventually brought in an age limit, and I think you had to be like 16 in order to drive the things. I can't remember for sure. But that had nothing to do with, I mean, these were badass machines. I mean, you felt like A.J. Foyt when you slipped in behind the thing, the full blown, the helmet and the 5-point, seat belts and all that. It felt cool. It felt cool to drive those freaking cars. I always wanted to get one and just see what it would really do, like drive it out the driveway. Just take off down Nordoff Street. Oh man. All right. Okay. So we've moseyed right along through this first hour. I'm going to, of course, do what I always do. Okay. There we go. We're gonna. Whoops. Come on. So get your act together. I'm going to put the number flagrantly across my screen so you can even read it if you're on your phone, watching at your phone at home. I want to know, when you were a kid, did you have a go-kart? Did you ever frequent the little go-kart places? Or even more importantly, did you ever go to a Malibu Grand Prix? Was that something you might have done? I'm dying to know. I am dying to know, because go-karting is, well, it's an American It's an American beauty right there. It really is. It may have gotten huge in other countries. I think Italy is where they held the first really, really big race, but I think it was 1965. But go-karting, believe it or not, it is here to stay. It's still here in this country, and I think that's freaking wonderful. We will be back. We will be back on the other side of this silly little video right here, right on the other side.
You know, riding along, listening to the Rasta.
You always run away.
I can't help but hope that my dear brother Belushi has just an extraordinary weekend. Have you heard that he's hooked up now with Rise Attire? Yes, he has. He's now carrying a complete line of Shibori men's underwear. Now, you can't get this anywhere else. This is exclusively through the lounge. Rise Attire Shibori men's underwear. Now, there was a rumor going around. I'm here to dispel the rumor. There was a rumor that Paul Pelosi's assailant was found wearing these. I'm here to tell you it's not true. But nonetheless, they are pretty impressive. And Belushi did his own photo shoot for these shots. So have a good look. They come in a plethora of colors. I invite you to support my dear brother Belushi. Buy his undies. It's time for Christmas. What better gift for the man who has everything than a pair of Belushi The Lounge Shibori men's tidy whities.
Stop that now. Stop that. There's a peek behind the scenes of the mystery ship you don't see very often. You know, it's funny. I'm flashing back now. I'm flashing back to those days. My brother worked. Did you see the castle? Did you see the big castle in that one Malibu Grand Prix thing? I think they said it was, I don't know, Forest Grove or whatever the hell there. It was a California location. My brother was a manager at a place called Golfland. Now, this was right off the San Diego Freeway and the Ventura Freeway in the San Fernando Valley, just before you went over the hill down into LA. And at Golfland, they had 4 different miniature putt-putt courses around the outside. They also had, I think, batting cages and some other way. I mean, if there was a way to gouge money out of you, these people figured it out. But the inside of the castle was nothing but arcades. And I mean the premium game. Actually, literally everything was there. And it was the forerunner of the places like today where you could win tickets and all that kind of thing and, you know, get a stuffed animal, that kind of thing. But my brother would bring us in late at night and just lock the doors when he closed the place, and we would play all night for free tokens. Spudley, wonderful to hear from you.
So, you're talking about the exact same chain that opened just now, the Castles.
Yeah.
The Castle thing. They opened Camelot in Anaheim. and it was right next door. It was a different property, but it was right next door to the Family Fun Center.
Okay.
Camelot was a giant castle, and it was like basically massive amounts of video games.
Yes.
Not as many pinball games, but it was built specifically to hold just a massive amount of video games.
Oh, yeah.
And it had the 4 course. I'm sure it was a carbon copy. I'm sure it was exactly the same building that they just built in a separate location. So I know what you're talking about, but that was the place. We called it Scamelot, because that's where you'd go when you were a teenage boy to go pick up girls.
That was it, man.
But right next door was the Family Fun Center, which had batting cages. It had a roller rink at one point. Well, originally it was you call that bumper cars, but they got rid of the bumper cars and turned it into a roller rink, and they did like roller dancing. But then there was also a go kart track, and it was pretty good. It was the kind that had you had the frame around it and stuff.
Yeah, right.
The thing that was lame about it is that the winner was pretty much determined by the guy who had the best go-kart.
Exactly.
Some of the go-karts, I would always get, because it was like, and it wasn't as expensive as Malibu Grand Prix,
right,
which I never did because I never had that kind of money. Well, first of all, when the Anaheim was open, I was too young to do it. And then you had to go to Fountain Valley because they closed the Anaheim one, and you had to go to Fountain Valley to do it. And, I mean, I went there a couple times while older kids and stuff did it, and it was just, I didn't have the money. I just played video games or whatever.
Right.
But the cheap ones over at Family Fun Center, it was 2 laps. It was like $5. It was okay. It had like a little track or whatever.
Right.
And it was fun. That was my go-karting. I didn't really do the ultra super stuff.
Right. So the one that we had near us, the one that the first video that I showed tonight, the one with no sound, with the little blonde girl and all the little half tires buried all the way around the track. So obviously we rode our bikes down there when we were 10 and 12, and I think at the time, I'm talking early 70s, 71, 72. I think it was like a $1.50 for, I think it was like 8 minutes. And the cool thing about it was you could race against 8 of your friends. I think there was 9 cars, and you all went at once. And just like you said, there were fast cars, and then there were dogs. And invariably, I hated getting stuck in a dog, but we would go back there in our early 20s with fueled by. My buddy's dad was a brewmaster at Budweiser, so his garage was filled with Michelob, and we would help ourselves and then get all tanked up and then go down and race and get thrown out of there for slamming into it, breaking all the rules. You weren't allowed to check anybody or bump into the back of them, but we did all that. We did all that stuff. But so you had in your backyard, you had the original Malibu Grand Prix, but you weren't old enough to ride there.
No, I wasn't. And then, like I said, I just didn't have it. And then when I was a teenager, like, you had to have a driver's license eventually. When I got to be an adult,
right,
that was the time you had to have a driver's license to get a Malibu Grand Prix license. That you because for insurance reasons.
Sure.
And if I had any extra money, I was buying weed with it. So.
I love the honesty, Spud. I love the honesty.
That's what was going on. Well, I'll let somebody else get in here, but that was my limited go-kart experience.
When you were tearing up the arcades, what were your favorite games?
Super Sprint, dude. I'm telling you, Sprint. Even though it was a 2D black and white game, the original Sprint.
Sure.
It was one of the first games I ever really fell in love with.
The Atari
and
days.
Then they came out with a second Sprint, a color Sprint, and then they came out with a game, and I was a little bit older. I was probably like 17, 18, Super Sprint. You could play, it was a 2-player version. Some consoles had 4 players.
Wow.
But it just kind of like a drift, it's a go-kart game. It's a drift racing, you're putting these little sprint cars that you're moving around.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 2D game.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love Karate Champ. I was master at that game. It was kind of an obscure game, but I loved it. There was a football game me and my buddy used to love, and there was also a real cheesy one called Gridiron Fight that you could, that I could play for a long time. And I don't know, we had our favorites.
Yeah.
Spy Hunter, those are great ones. I mean, there were so many great ones. I didn't like the later ones. They were like 50 cents, the lame ass.
Oh yeah.
Ones that were like the early computer things where you're just choosing a direction to go, like some of those Star Trek games or Star Wars games or whatever. Those were lame. But those came along, I was done.
Yeah, those were fun times. It's kind of a shame that I wonder if arcades still exist to this day for kids because they're so hung up on their phone. I mean, they can play games at home in their underwear, and they can play guys in Spain or guys in, Colombia or, it's a whole different world now.
Last arcade, in Astoria, Oregon, there's a vintage arcade that's got like 80s and 90s,
I think it would be nostalgic to have a place like that. I think you'd get all the 70s and 80s, people who were kids in the 70s and 80s who are now adults. I think if you had, the antiquated games, the Pac-Mans and the Ms. Pac-Mans and Crystal Castles, I think you'd get adults in there playing.
Yeah, well, there were. Well, me and Mrs. were just there a few years ago. We were staying there, and we were, checking. I'd never been to Astoria, so we were checking everything out.
Cool place.
And it was mostly kids playing on these old video games. It's crazy. I'm like,
that's cool.
Playing Pac-Man.
That's cool. Yeah.
So anyway, bro.
All right. Hey, I appreciate the call, Spud, always.
All right. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. Man. Bye. Our dear brother Spud, he had the original Malibu Grand Prix in his freaking backyard. In his backyard. I'm remembering now more about that golf land place, that giant castle that my brother was the manager of. Yeah. When it was 1:00 in the morning on a Friday night, and he had to lock the doors. Well, me and all my band members, we got to stay inside, and he would just give out free tokens, and we would play till 6 in the morning, man. Oh, it was awesome. Welcome aboard the mystery ship. Who do I have on the line tonight?
Tim.
Tim, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, brother?
Not too shabby. Were you a go-karter at all? Did you get into karting of any kind?
No, sir. But you're talking about the arcade part.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm here in Jersey.
Oh.
Way far, far away.
My home state.
Oh, good man. Where, what part?
I was born in East Orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was born in Jersey Shore, Thinking Hospital back in my day.
Right on.
Then in Neptune.
All right.
You know where Asbury Park is?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I wasn't that far. So, speaking of arcades, when I grew up in the early to mid '80s, when I was a teenager, there was a thing called Belmar Playland on Ocean Avenue, Belmar, between 14th and 15th, and that was the place to be. Back in the early, that was it. They had the rooftop golf.
Oh yeah, wow.
They had actually. I remember the Pizza Hut being like connected to it. There was a restaurant there before that, but those days are so missed.
Golden memories.
Oh yes. There's a place. I'm in Middletown, so I'm by Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
There's a place in Red Bank. I heard it's like a retro, like an arcade place that you can go to. I haven't been there yet.
You might have to go check it out.
Oh, damn Skippy!
I was huge on, like, of all the freaking games, Ms. Pac-Man was my game. And
Ms. Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to laugh. I was invited by Frank from the Quite Frankly show to be a guest. And so I get there, he said, be there at such and such a time. And, I was coming up from South Jersey, I think. So whatever happened, I'm on a motorcycle. I got there a good hour and a half early. And below his studio is a laundromat. And I'm like, well, what the hell? I got a whole motorcycle filled with filthy, dirty laundry. I'll stop and do some laundry. So I get my studs going, right? And when I'm all done, all I have to do is walk upstairs, right? So I turn around behind me, and there's a Ms. Pac-Man game right there. And for a quarter, you got five men. And dude, I was I was there when the phone finally rang, and it's Frank. He goes, dude, where are you? You were supposed to be here like. I'm like, oh shit, I'm playing Ms. Pac-Man. It was such a kick in the pants, man. I tore that thing up. I tore that fucking game up. It was like being a little kid again. Yeah.
Oh, I hear you. I listen to Frank a lot. I listen to Adel.
Very good.
Zach, all of them.
Oh yeah.
And then I know. Well, they took the other day off because Adel was on vacation. But I listen to. I listen to a lot. I miss a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ever since that purge back in, I don't know if you were on back then.
Oh, yeah.
In October of 2020.
Yep. Remember it well.
So was it October 15th? I think it was. All of a sudden I went to my phone. I'm like, where did everybody go?
Dude, it was a Thursday, and I do my show on Wednesday nights. The Wednesday before that, I said, I almost felt like I did it. I felt like I jinxed him. I said, folks, it's only a matter of time before they pull the plug on all of us people talking about. And then the next morning, everybody was gone. Everybody that I watched was gone. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But
it is amazing. But you know what, though? We persevere.
Yeah. I still know where to find each and every one of those guys. So. And God bless them. God bless them for keeping on. They're all rock stars in my book.
Oh hell yeah, you all are.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Are you on Rumble at all?
I am.
Okay.
I'm live there right now.
Check that out. So because the problem that I have like with Adel, with 412 Productions, a lot of times I'm at work and I can't listen to him. And then if you go on to, because I know he only does the first hour on Rumble.
Right.
And then he goes straight to Pilled.
Right.
Which is great. But the thing is, you go to Pilled, and maybe I got to figure this out. How the hell do you see his what I missed earlier that day? Because a lot of stuff is months ago. I'm like, I don't want to hear that.
You should be able to go to his homepage, and anytime he is not broadcasting, you should be able to go to his homepage and just scroll right down the list from the most recent show all the way back. I think it takes, I don't know, 6 hours or something for the most recent show to be able to rewatch it. I know that the minute I finish watching my show, I can't go back and watch it immediately on Pilled Foxhole, but I can watch it the next day.
Yeah.
There might be a little, I don't know, buffering. Dude, what I know about this, you could write on the head of a pin. But I do know you can go back and watch his full show, and he does do the whole show on Pilled, so you can go back and watch his archives. So yeah, you should be able to catch his older shows like that.
I'm gonna have to look at that.
Yeah.
I'm not too computer savvy, so it's just like
me neither. It's a miracle I get this show on the air.
Well, you're doing just fine, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
You've been doing fine for years.
Thank you kindly. Good talking to you, my Jersey brother. Yeah, I left Jersey in '69. I used to live up in Cedar Grove, North Caldwell, that area.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's where that was my home back in the day.
Okay, so North Jersey.
Yeah, right up.
What was the name of the park up North Jersey where everybody got hurt?
Not Verona.
No. You're close. Oh God.
Yeah, I remember the
something. Oh God.
Do you remember a place in Jersey called the Turtleback Zoo? Is that still there?
Turtleback Zoo. Yes.
It is? I'll
Yes,
be
sir.
damned. Yeah, when I was like a little kid, you could go there and ride on the backs of these giant Galapagos turtles, huge, like 5 feet across. It was, I don't know if they let you ride them anymore, but that used to be the, wow, it's nice to know stuff like that's still there. Good. Hey, brother, I appreciate the call, man. It's Tim, right?
No. Yes, sir.
Very good. Dude, good talking to you.
Good talking to you. Thanks for taking my call, and God bless.
Take care, my brother. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
All right. Wow. A brother from Jersey. I like it. Wow. We're going to, I think I'm going to veer off of this because I want to kind of get us caught up on several of our friends who are in need of prayer right now. If you don't mind, I think we're going to switch over that way. We are going to switch over that way. So let me do this. Let me get rid of that. Yes, I want to get rid of that. I want to boom this up here. Chicka-boom, chicka-boom. Oh, the back of the studio is all dark. I never turned on the other lights. Oh well, some days are like that. So, folks, as I mentioned briefly at the beginning of the show, the Fishburne family, Amber and her oldest daughter Abby, are holding their own, basically raising the younger children. Excuse me, Abby is the little one. What is the older girl's name? Oh, I can see her face. I met her. She's a riot. Dang it. Anyway, bottom line is that I would ask that you continue to pray for the Fishburne family. They're struggling. They are struggling. I could feel the nervousness in her voice when I spoke with Amber tonight. You can tell that times are tough there. Would you please continue to pray for the Fishburne family? It's gonna sting a while, folks. I got a note from Joe Elaine earlier tonight, and we are, I guess, right at the 1 year anniversary of Leonard's passing, which that was a big surprise that day. That was a big surprise for many of us. A great dude. I'm so glad I got to meet him and hang out with him. One of a kind. Please keep them in your prayers. Please continue to pray for Jayla, 17, and her husband. Her husband recovering from open heart surgery. That their world returns to normal as soon as possible. That is it is wonderful news. Wonderful news that he's on the mend and he's home where he belongs. Great stuff. Great stuff. Praise God. A little more trying news with our friend Gary Flessner, who called into my show Friday night. Gary was literally on top of the world the previous time that I spoke with him. He felt like he really was going to just be back in his old domain in no time at all. He thought it would be about a month's recovery, and he'd be home again. But I guess in the last week, he's come to the realization that he's, in spite of his inner fight, he's going to need help. He's working on getting his finger motions back. He said to me on the phone, he calls me Zeus. He said, Zeus, I do 3 reps of my fingers and I'm done for the day. He goes, that's all I can do right now. He goes, I'm gonna lose my apartment. I'm gonna have to move into a place where they can take care of me. This is going to be it's going to be a bit of a transition for Gary. Okay, he's lived independently his entire life with his own car, taking care of himself, fending for himself, doing whatever he needs to do. It's going to be very different for him. Plus, here he is, not in a position to, personally pack up all of his own stuff, into boxes and move them to some new place where the stuff will sit there for months on end until he's in good enough shape to go through them himself. He's got a great attitude. That much I have to say, I'm so impressed with our dear brother Gary. In spite of what is immediately before him, he's hanging tough. He's hanging tough. This is going to be a dramatic change for him. I would ask that you please continue to pray for our brother Gary, that he makes it through this next step. He very well could regain all of his motor functions and eventually go back to living an independent life somewhere. But realistically, for the next 3 months, maybe 6 months, he's going to need daily assistance, 24-hour care. And I'm sure that's going to be a new one for him. Previously he had a girl come over, I think once or twice a week to help with laundry and stuff like that. But now he's going to need care daily. So please keep our dear brother Gary in your prayers if you would. I'd like to ask us to continue to pray for the family of our dear friend Prayer Warrior Girl. They recently lost their mother, and I'm pleased to say that they're talking again. The pandemic put a wrench in the gears of that family where they weren't necessarily talking daily. Time heals a lot of wounds. I would just ask that you pray for all of them, that they are blessed with an inner peace. Letting go of one's parent is a very difficult thing. Prayer Warrior Girl didn't get to have a lot of contact with her mother towards the end, which probably was most difficult for her. But she's a positive person, and she knew that this was God taking care of one of his own. And I feel for my dear sister. Please keep Prayer Warrior Girl and her family in your prayers, if you would. We've got some mothers out there that are in need of prayer. Rich Koschmider is constantly taking care of his mother as is our dear brother, the Batman, and is our friend Val Kimber. Would you keep all of those mothers in your prayers, that God would just wrap his loving arms around these ladies and just in some small way ease their burden, would be my request. Just that life would somehow get a little easier for them. Same with our sister Leah Worth, a dear friend of this program, one of the oldest friends that I have in broadcast land, back from the good old Joey Mormon days. Our dear sister Leah Worth is a peach, an absolute peach. Please pray for her and her daily struggles, as she not only fends for herself, which is difficult enough, she's taking care of her mother. So may God bless them both, is my request. My request. We got wonderful news the other day from our sister Sleeping Stars. She sent me an update, which I found so wonderful. So let me share what Shelby had to say. She goes, Zoso, just wanted to give you a positive update on my health situation. I've been waiting for a while because I wanted to be sure and I didn't want to slide backwards, but things seem to have improved. I'm able to eat again and I can gain weight. She says, although I don't want to, LOL. She goes, the stomach pain has subsided. There are still a few little odd things that are still there, but overall, things have gotten much better. Still never had an official diagnosis, and I'm totally in the dark about just what really happened, but I'm glad it's swung back in the right direction. I can't thank all of you enough for the prayers and the financial help. I do believe the alternative treatments greatly contributed to my improvement where modern medicine failed. The prayers and love were absolutely felt. Thank you again for having me on your show and allowing me to share my story. I don't like to bother too much since I know you have lots of people messaging you, but was excited to share this wonderful news with you, and it is wonderful news indeed. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the reason that she's feeling as good as she's feeling right now was our prayers? Our prayers healed her. I believe that is entirely possible. I would ask all of you to keep all of our sailors in your prayers. This is a very special and unique family, and I love each and every one of you. It is my honor to be able to do this show with you guys 3-4 times a week. It's a kick in the pants. It is a kick in the pants. I'm going to get on out of here, people. I know it's getting late on the East Coast. People have got to work tomorrow. I've got to work tomorrow. I kind of worked today with I had my grandson spend the night over Saturday night, and we set up a slot car track to die for. I'm so pissed that I didn't shoot any video. I really should have, because we created the most badass slot car track. I got a couple of track extension kits for his. I got him the loop-to-loop that lights up, and when you rip the car through it, it goes. And we set up a humdinger of a track, took up my entire living room, and it's a big living room. So we had a great time together, but he's now into this. This is something completely new to me. Fingerboarding. Does anybody even know what this is? So they have skateboards that are this big. I mean, I'm talking like 4 inches long. And it has it's just like a miniature version of a real skateboard. It's got real trucks, and the wheels twist, and it does all the things that a real skateboard does if you were the size of, say, Ken from the Barbie and Ken doll collection. But they take their fingers on these skateboards and they run them around these tracks and do ollies, and so he's been after me to help him build a track for his fingerboard. And we built one today. And your brother Zoe, being your brother Zoe, I mean, I built him a set of stairs with steel railings on them that he can jump up and slide down the railings. I built him a half pipe about, I don't know, 24 inches long I took an 8-inch freaking piece of 30-34 and chopped it in half and then made sides to it and ramps and rails and pipes and all the stuff that kids do with skateboards. He said he's going to be living on it. So kids these days, believe it or not, it wore me out building that thing. I mean, I had to get out just about every tool I own, from my air compressor to whatever, but just spending time with him is everything. And I hope that each and every one of you get to spend time with either your children or your grandchildren as much as possible, because it is a kick in the pants. I love each and every one of you. Have a great week ahead. I will be seeing you Wednesday night. Thanks so much for your support of this program. You guys are amazing. I'm right now, releasing the scratching over there at Pilled Foxhole. Go and hit that little lottery ticket, scratch off, and win some gold pills. Win some gold pills over there. Meanwhile, my wonderful friends, and I mean wonderful friends over here at D Live, holy smokes, you have moved me up into 3rd place. I'm now sitting right behind 3 beer men. How about that? Folks, that's no fooling around. You guys took me from 14th to 3rd tonight. Thank you very, very much. Let's do something special for you. Let's put a bomber in there. Let's put a bomber in there. Huh? All right. This is going to be a treasure chest worth winning right here. Oh yeah. There we go. I just loaded up the treasure chest. I just loaded it up, and I'm going to release it right now. Coming your way. Coming your way, people. In 23 seconds, the treasure chest will be opened. Let me see if I can go over here and maybe scratch that itch myself. Can I win a gold pill? Not on the first try. Can I win a gold pill? Not on the second try. This is going to be one of those nights where I don't win any gold pills. I just know it. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm not supposed to win all the time. When you do win, it puts it into perspective. Well, look at this. Miss Kitty brings home the bacon. Amethyst Cat, 214. Lieutenant Cooker, Val Kimber, Gloria Paddock, Peggy Dancer on the board tonight. Good to see you in there, Peggy. Good for you. Good for you, my friends. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Everybody, have yourselves a great week ahead. It's going to be a nice one here. It's going to be a nice week. No rain in the forecast. I might actually get a few things done. I might get a few things done at work. All right, let me kill the volume to this. And let me start about here. Come on. Get this right, Zoe. Get this right. There it is. Okay. Let me get a little sound of harbor behind me. Let's get the horny manatee in there. It's not a horny manatee. It's a foghorn, for God's sakes. You guys have a great week ahead. We will see you somewhere over the rainbow. Take care. Whoops. There. I didn't want you to miss Jayla 17. There she is. There she is. Oh, I need to cut in. I need to remind you, this coming Wednesday night, my next program on Wednesday night is going to be the Battle of the Platforms. Yes, it is. So sharpen those pencils, people. It's going to be Foxhole versus DLive versus YouTube versus Rumble versus Twitch. May the best platform win. Next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, Battle of the Platforms. Bring your wits. It's always a good time when we do that. We'll see you then.